the child, but as their leader, is inspired by Dr. Maria Montessori. And that to me is just a reminder that as adults, it's incumbent upon us to respect the fact that even though we're in this position of leadership over the child, it's really important for us to also respect where they're at and that they have a different idea about doing things. Dr. Maria Montessori wrote often that adults are so focused on the end product and children are really focused on the process. And so that to me is like, if a kid takes 30 minutes to walk to the end of the driveway, because we want to stop and look at every single little rock and flower and stick along the way, that's okay. In fact, that's beautiful. And I should slow down and encourage that rather than saying, oh, come on, let's go to the end of the driveway.
I love that. And where did this passion for Montessori come from for you?
For me, it was probably when I was looking at becoming a teacher and I was looking at different avenues of education in order to become a teacher. And I found a Montessori program that offered their own certification course in education where you graduate with your teaching certificate, but it's specifically focused on Montessori. And I absolutely fell in love with how Dr. Montessori values nature and her respect for the child as a person, rather than this annoying little thing that we have to like drag along and say, be quiet and sit here and stop moving all the time. Like her respect for the child was so beautiful. And I felt transformative. I deeply feel like most of the societal ills that we complain about as adults, we're the ones maybe accidentally encouraging these in childhood. And we could instead be encouraging empathy and critical thinking and kindness and independence and autonomy if we chose to treat young children differently.
I love that. I love that. Now you work as a nanny. What are some of the biggest lessons you've learned as a nanny?
Yeah, I think honestly, to me, it's being reminded every day of the joyfulness and curiosity that exists in childhood and how that really should be something that adults carry with them. And a lot of us lose that. A lot of us get kind of crushed by work and jobs and chores and bills, and we have to go to another doctor appointment. And I think that being around kids on a daily basis reminds me that there's so much joy and curiosity in the world, and it's okay to just spend 30 minutes outside, like listening to the birds and following the bees from flower to flower and being excited about that process rather than worrying about all of the things that you have to do later.
That's a great point. What are some of the biggest pieces of advice that you would give parents that you've learned along the way so far?
The one that I am continually reminded that I want to keep learning is to trust kids. Like, trust that they have a reason for doing what they're doing and trust that they're trying to communicate with you. They're little, they don't do it perfectly. Adults don't even do it perfectly sometimes, but yeah, I would say just to trust kids that they're doing what they're doing for a reason. And it's important to stop and to listen to them and see if we can try to understand.